各位观众晚上好，我们今天要玩轩辕剑3云和山的彼端 or as we know it in English, the Legend of Xuan Yuan Sword 3 Mist Beyond the Mountains. Hello everyone, welcome to Illusion Queen, welcome. So I don't know what's going on with the how do I say this? With the chat. So right now it's not showing on OBS. I'm back on Linux. At least I figured out how to get the things running, up and running. But like right now, like there seems to be a problem with the displaying the chat. So unfortunately, we don't have the Twitch chat on the stream, but we'll have to make do with it. Oof, I know. I have possible solutions for that, but it's a pain to set up. I didn't want to delay stream any further. So anyway, if you might remember from last time, everyone, there will be a lot to read. I mean, I guess maybe I should just go ahead and like show it. So let me see if I can do something about this. I could like I think I might be able to get it to show. Like right now, like web sources are not working in OBS on Linux right now. I don't know why that's happening, but I might be able to show. Let me see. Let me try showing. No, I want to pick a certain. I might be able to do this. I'm trying to try. So if we do this, we technically, it is pretty ghetto, but it works. I mean, obviously not over my face, but you know. Hold on, I have an idea. This works. Like, I'm trying to have it not be over my face, but you know. Yeah, that's probably too far back. Yeah, this will have to be for now. Let me turn that off. It looks silly, but it works. I think that's the way we're gonna have to do it. Yeah. Anyway, sorry guys. I know it's a little ghetto, but like we don't really have a choice here. We'll just have to squeeze it in somehow. It is the most. This does not look great, but you know. I mean, technically, I could just. Yeah, it's gonna hide it too far if I move it. So. Yeah, this is the best I can do. I mean, I can't really think of anything. Yeah, there for reasons I can't move my webcam. My webcam will be above the hierarchy, so that would be very bad. So anyway, I'm going to hide this here. Okay, that will at least. Yeah, it looks very funny, but it will work. Okay, I think we've managed to do this. It is kind of ghetto, but it works. So this is the best I can do. I just have to hide the mod icons. Hide the mod icons. So guys, you actually get to see how a mod Twitch chat works. So there you go. Yeah, this will be kind of funny, but it is the most silly thing. Anyway, if you might remember correctly, we are with the final battle with Satan, and so it will be quite fascinating to see how this works. And yeah, it looks like there's no way I can make it any smaller. Oh well, We'll just have to deal with it. And I'll move the thing around if it gets too difficult to read at certain points. I think that's the best way we're gonna have to do it. So I'm going to increase the. I won't be that mean, and I'll show you the text if necessary. I still have access to the mouse over here while I'm at it, so I'll just wave the chat around. It will have to do for today because OBS is still on Linux is still weirdly broken. Anyway, sorry for that taking a bit of time there. Anyway, we're going to first play with his servants. Satan still insists that he can beat God, but apparently Septim, unfortunately, he just was in denial and didn't look at all of Septim's memories about the fact that Septim realized, or like that, hey, you know, we really can't beat. I don't think this rebellion against God is going to work because the reverse mandala formation requires so much energy, so much power. It would literally be an act of God to activate. Anyway, this says human corpse. Let's see if we can do some damage against them. I don't know if you can hit everyone, but I'll just go ahead and use the Wind Uncle or Wind Mister. She really has nothing better. Darkness is very useless against the Satan, so all she can do is probably just summon. And I've already said, as I've said before, we are not going to use the super things like the super dolls because they're just way too powerful and they would end this fight in like a second, and we're not gonna do that. Let's at least give Satan the dignity of a final battle. Like, let's not be. We're going to at least give him a dignified chance to actually hurt us, even though we pretty much have this fight in the bag. We're absolute worst case. We're gonna summon some White Reapers, and that did no damage. I missed. 638. Decent amount of damage, I guess. Oh, dead. Yeah, I'm gonna save. Dead. Let us go ahead and yeah, I would have used. There's also restream chat as well. I could have included, but that would also that would reveal to other chats other than Twitch, so I have to not use that. I mean, maybe would that be better? But I mean, it shows some. It's like it's not ready. Or would that be better? I don't know. That's a good question. Okay, so it's technically possible. Embed chat, this one. Yeah, I'm gonna embed chat for. Yeah, it is possible. I think I have an idea. I have an idea to make this a little better. Sorry for the last. I just had an epiphany. That's why. I can show a different chat instead, so that we don't get in trouble with Twitch. Because I do not want to get in trouble with Twitch, because Twitch was nice enough to provide a nice okay, let me see. I think it's this one, right? There you go. Yeah, I'll just have to really like shrink it down. Yeah, it'll be a little weird, but oh well. What can you do? Yeah, I'll just have to wave it around when we do it. It's fine. We'll live with this. Anyway, Kama has nothing better to do. I guess suppose she could just attack with the Thunder God. Or no, actually I forgot. Light is better. Sacred Sword against anybody. Septum. Why don't you use your ultimate? Like the King destroys the mountain. And Nicole, I don't know what you could do. Sure, just use the monster spirit of the 3 realms. And Veda slays the monsters, but or the 2 masters. Yeah, it healed. It's useless. I think it's overkill. Actually, I don't think I'm doing it. Guess we gotta destroy more of them. Oh, the Thunder God. She really can't do much except use Heavenly Lightning, I guess. I don't know. What can she do? Veda slays the monster. Wow. Dead. Satan says, not bad, not bad. Like, this is what it means to be worthy of being my rival. I like this is what I like would make you a worthy rival, I suppose. I guess you could say that, but yeah. Satan continues, Septum, I like you more and more. Will you really not consider it? Not reconsider? Septum says, there is nothing to reconsider. I want to live my own life. Satan says, why do some people not learn to behave? Ooh. Wow, that does no damage. The Reapers do more damage than Nicole's Thunder attack. 3,320. Ow. That's still gonna do a decent chunk of damage. We could definitely use our super items now, since I don't think this is going to make a difference at this point. Okay, let's see. Septum. Yeah, I guess I would have Nicole heal, essentially. There's really nothing else she can do. We'll use Sacred Sword might still do a decent amount, will it? 316? Ugh. It did no damage. Okay, Nicole. All you can do is heal, so why don't you just heal? And we can use Bliss. I think Blissful though. I forget which the we could use her. I mean, we have the physical That I will use. So. All the way down there, right? Yeah. All the way down there. Yep. The True Dream. If we have used True Dream, it will use 300 physical power, but hey, she's got it, so might as well use it. It might be overkill, actually. I probably didn't need to, but oh well. It'll give her a buff. Ow! Ow! Goodness. So that's the strongest attack he has. Trying to show off that he still got it. Wow, that did no damage. His physical did no damage. That's pretty funny, actually. Wow, that's so sad. Oh, man. Okay, you can restore to 5,000 to a single target with this attack. So let's do it to Nicole. Nicole, I honestly, I don't know what you can do. I mean, I should have just had his... Wow, that crit did no damage. Oh, nice. Wow, it killed. Okay, fine. Very well. Wow. Oh, wasted some spiritual power there. That did no damage. Okay. Alright, let's resurrect, please. It's 100 spiritual power, but why not? No damage. We've got enough. She's got enough power. Yeah, I wish it was fast way to scroll the list faster, but we can't do anything about that. True Dream. Split and torn asunder, I guess. Yeah, he's gonna continue to use that move. It's gonna hurt, but we can overcome it. The two masters are excited. Use Blissful Doll. Cheaper than actually, like. There are other, of course, we do still have the other options. One of the, not that one. Yeah, we still have, of course, the immortal Lotus Seeds. Still very good, so I have that in my back pocket. But we'll use Blissful Doll, we can. Or, sorry, True Dream. No. 2001, pretty good. Now you got shakes the 9 heaven. Darkness river source. Did no damage. The king breaks the mountains. 1800. 2400. Okay. Veda slays the monsters. No damage. Divine healing on Septim. Yeah, let's go ahead and heal. 5,000? No, that's probably not necessary. The wind, the sweet dew. Ow. That's certainly gonna hurt. Septim's attacks do so much damage. No, there's no damage. Veda slays monsters. Use the ultimate. Wing Uncle seize the day. Oh, come on, Septim. 1500. We might as well restore her physical power so she can use the doll again. Maybe? I'm not really sure if I would want to do that. Why not? Who cares? I am ultimate things, ultimate items. I really don't need to be that conservative. 477. No, don't fight him. Nice. Oh. Ah. Even though I have failed, but you will never be able to kill me. Septim, use the fusion kettle. What? No. You forgot, Satan. You're not immune to the fusion kettle. Fusion successful. 5,600 EXP, 960 silver, and 140 treasure points. Wait, we're still getting... Does that count? Septim grew to level 60. 6,050 HP, 970 magic power, 1515 physical power, 250 strength, 205 resistance, 164 wisdom, and 64 agility. He is now has the new magic attack, the Fire God Arise. Level 59 for Nicole. 4310 HP, 1330 magic power, 1010 physical power, 174 strength, and 169 resistance. Man, she's not getting any stat increases, is she? Now she has the new magic, Qinglong's Cloud Wall, I guess. And she gained level 60. 4410 HP, 1355 magic power, 1025 physical power, 176 strength, 170 resistance, and 70 agility. She gained a new magic attack, the 10 evil splits the soul, I guess. Level 60 for Kama. 5080 HP, 1600 magic power, 935 physical power, 180 strength, 170 resistance, and 230 wisdom. And her magic attack is called Baihu. Baihu falls, brings the stars down, I guess. So many Cardinal Beast references, huh? Level 56 for Li Jing. 6280 HP, 990 magic power, 1390 physical power, 220 strength, 175 resistance, and 175 wisdom. Level 57 for Li Jing. 6460 HP, 1010 magic power, 1420 physical power, 178 resistance, 178 wisdom, and 63 agility. I don't know how to translate this. Wu Xiao Ru Lai is like... I'm not actually sure. Give me 1 sec. Or maybe like... Oh, I guess Ru Lai is like... I think it's a Buddhist. Is one of the titles of Buddha. The Tathagata. But... So like like the unrivaled Buddha. I'm not really sure how to... Oh, okay. I have the Star King's eyes was fine. The treasure was completed its growth. The formless Buddha? Ah, I see. Actually, that makes more sense. Because to have it's one who has no appearance. Basically, one who is formless. That makes a lot more sense. Sorry, I just didn't think about it that way. Thank you. And then now the immortal of the Xuan Yuan sword says, by capturing him in your fusion kettle, at the very least, for 99 years, he will not be able to escape. 99 years? Why can't it capture him forever? Let's see. Once his power is sufficient, he will struggle and be able to escape out of it. I hope that before that happens, he will repent. You want Satan to repent? Then that probably would be tens of thousands of years before that happened. Let's see. Nicole, the heavenly realm wants plans for you to go to reincarnate. Nicole is going to reincarnate. I see. It is because Nicole must face the consequence. the consequences for when she was she was a demon general in the demon realm. But because she has because she has contributed to stopping Satan, that is why the heavenly realm has especially called or like has especially how do I say this? Not set up. Prepared for Nicole to be born in Europe. Oh, interesting. Wow, we even get to know where she gets to reincarnate. Basically, arranged. Yes, thank you. Arranged. I just could not think of the English word. Yeah, they literally say like the fruits of the seeds she has sown as a demon general. But of course, that's just a way of saying the results of your acts, I suppose. For when they're talking about her time as a demon general. After a few years, Septim, you will be able to meet up again with the reincarnated Nicole. Septim, when that time comes, you have to come find me. I will definitely go and find you, says Septim. Let's see. Septim, I too will have to go. I must go to the heavenly realm to watch over Widad. If it is possible, go and find Widad and take good care of her. Don't let her become like me, a lonely person in love. I think I'm thinking of like if that's the way to translate it, but I think that's the best I can do. A lonesome person with regards to love, maybe? I don't know. Maybe I could also say that too. She's just saying that she doesn't have anyone to love, I guess. Meow. Comma. Bye. I think I know what he's saying, but let me just... Let's see. I must go and help the great kingdom Tang, who is currently on the verge of collapse. Or say, I still have to help, maybe, the great kingdom of Tang, who is on the verge of collapse. So I must stay here. I won't be able to send you all the way back to Europe. Well, of course. Please take good care of yourself. We will meet again. Septim, in order to maintain your new fleshly body, I will have to be by your side for some time. Thank you. Ankh, what about you? You won't mind if I follow you, would you? You are most welcome. Yay! At least we still have Ankh. Ankh had to say goodbye to Septim, but to Kama. Septim? Are you human or a ghost? How is this possible? It was I who carried your corpse to be buried. The heavenly realms said that that before my task would, that I was not allowed to die before my task was complete. That is why they helped create a new fleshly body for me. I know. It's kind of funny that he says that someone could take that as like some kind of funny joke, but like no, that's actually what happened. Plot armor, literal plot armor. Yeah. It seems like having a religion is certainly a good thing. It seems that I should go find a religion to believe in. I know, he's like, wow, these are some nice perks you have for for dedicating yourself to a faith. That's actually kind of funny. I mean, I guess, but don't you have Shinto? Well, I mean, like, I guess, like, for Japanese people, like, it's a religion in a sense, but it's not like something that's kind of faith. It's kind of weird to explain. Like, I guess, like, even I wonder if like it's more like it's like they say like Japanese people are more spiritual than religious, so like it's more like you believe in the spirits, but there's not like a religion to worship them. It's kind of interesting. Maybe that's why he says this. I'm like, don't you technically have Shintoism and Buddhism in Japan? But maybe he's like, he never considered like really pursuing either of those avenues. Anyway, let me continue. It has nothing to do with religion. And getting back on topic, let's see. What's been going on recently? Let's see. An Lushan had invaded Chang'an, or like An Lushan attacked his way into Chang'an. The emperor and the great officials escaped in the night, and the guard. Let's see. And the guard stoked the ire of the public. Like, who killed the evil official Yang Guozhong? I think, right? Yeah. Yeah, like the pub guards stoked the ire, maybe stoked the wrath of the public, because they were the ones that encouraged it. I think. Yeah, they encouraged the public to get angry, and then they killed the evil official Yang Guozhong. An evildoer the evildoer receives his just desserts. Or finally receives his just desserts. I localized it a bit there. In Chinese, he says like the evildoer has finally received what's coming to him. I guess, if you want to be more like less literal, less literary. Let's see. The soldiers also say that the consort Yang is also the leader of the, let's see, or like, is also the cause of the trouble, and wish for the emperor to sentence her to death. Oof. What happened afterwards? Ooh, yeah. The emperor had no choice. He had to have the consort Yang kill hang herself to death in this little temple, in a small temple. Oof, that's grim. And you know, remember that this is why palace politics are very scary. Like, you could be sentenced to death at any time, and sometimes, in this case, the emperor was forced to do so, because she was all basically they were not going to have a fair trial. That concept isn't really a thing back then. Of like it was fair, like that wasn't until later dynasties where there was a concept of like having a fair trial. Before that, it was sort of like you had to have the right people speak out for you. There was not really a concept of like I mean, I guess you could argue technically it wouldn't be one until much later, but you know, but like, so in this case, public sentiment was against her, and so, or like the soldiers were definitely not favorable to her, so she was screwed. Yeah, I know, Hashi Akira. What about my other friends? Do you know what happened to them? Let's see. Now the world is in chaos. Zhang Ke and Wang Siyue have already been married. They have created the righteous brave warriors. I mean, that's the best say I could come up with. And have gone and have been attacking the army of Anlu Shan everywhere, all over. Wow, they actually got married. Interesting. I suppose that's true. They were technically like, they had gotten to know each other, and then at this point, when Septim died, Wang Siyue has pretty much had to give up on him, because, like, well, yeah, so I guess it pushed her to pursue Zhang Ke instead. Oh? Let's see. The battle monks of the Shaolin Temple are taking, or let's see, are in action everywhere. Before Septim died, he asked Zhang Ke. Yeah, that's right. You're right. I had almost forgotten about that too. That's right, because he wasn't sure he would live. So yeah, that's how they probably got to know each other, and you know, how things escalated, not in a good way, not the bad way. Anyway, I will also show you. Oh yeah, I gotta do it on this side. Yeah, so there you go. For people who can't see, sorry, we have to use this really ghetto way of showing it, but oh well. What can you do? Let's see. All of the battle monks of the Shaolin Temple have sprung into action, and are trying to quell the chaos everywhere. I've heard that your friend Wu Yuan has also made a great contribution to the effort. Well then, what are your own plans? Or, well, again, do you have any plans of your own? Maybe that would be better. I happen to be preparing to return to my home. What about you? Yeah, I suppose with the Kingdom of Tang in chaos, there's really not any reason for. There's really no point in him staying when he won't be able to learn when the kingdoms, the whole kingdoms in kingdom or is in chaos. Like, it's wartime. It's really not a great place to hang around. Oh, fun. We have to ban that bot, unfortunately. Oh well. Right. Yes. I still have to bring back the knowledge that I have learned home to Europe. I really do not understand. Back then, was there any need for you to make such a great sacrifice? Is it because you have the blood of a Chinese person within you? Or is it because you have Chinese blood within you? Perhaps. But the Emperor of China really did treat me well. Let's see. I have also encountered many great friends. Let's see. I really did not hope that China would end up like this. Yeah, he wanted to change. Well, essentially, or he doesn't know this, but he would have changed history if he had actually succeeded. But sadly, the emperor was not very wise back then. So, in the end, An Lushan still got to has his kingdom of Yan for now, and that's going to be I'm actually genuinely surprised that the Tang Dynasty was not permanently defeated, smacked because of that, but fortunately not. Aren't you the same as well? Let's see. You came here still wanting to protect the Emperor. Yes, indeed. Very well. I hope there will still be an opportunity to meet again. Hold on, let me see. Let's see. A distance beyond reach of letters. It's best not to hold too great of expectations. Oh, that's sad. Remember, the world back then was across the entirety of the end of east part of Asia to nearly the western part of Western Europe. Think about that great distance, how impossible communication is. The fact that even back then China had not ever made direct contact with the Roman Empire. And the Roman Empire, okay, at this point, the Eastern Roman Empire extended all the way to the western edge of Persia, Iran. So what is modern day Iran? So if they can't even get in contact with people in the Middle East, in that part of the Middle East, then how in the world would you get in contact with anyone beyond those borders in Western Europe? Beyond the Eastern Roman Empire. So that's why, that's just why he's saying, I mean, let's be real. You're don't have those kind of expectations. I can't even write a letter to you. Ah, indeed. You take care of yourself. You too. Oh, that's sad too. Goodbye. I will always remember this journey to. Let's see. This journey to China. I too will always remember it. Goodbye. Very sad. Let's see. Prince Yuan. Oh no, we're gonna have to. It's gonna be too fast. Thank you for writing it down, because like. I like the artwork too. Charlemagne, huh? Oh my goodness. Okay, so we're going to get into credits. Before then, let's go ahead and read up. So, okay, so I will get. We're going to see lots of credits. Look at those computers back then. Near the end of the 20th century. Those CRTs. These credits are scrolling way too fast for me to read, but let's just say it's important. Anyway, I will go ahead and roll it. Help you guys out here, and I'm gonna roll back the translations, or else. Oh wait, I can't. Oh no. Well, let me have it switch to. But I want to watch these credits so badly, though. Oh. Taiwan GameSpot. Wow, 1999. The first time this game came out. Oh my goodness. Okay. The end. Okay, so hurry and get me out here. I am the great Myerton. They're still making fun of Myerton until the end. Anyway, let me go ahead and roll us back before I forget. Let me see. Oh my, I need to like find the Twitch chat. Here it is, I think. This is the one. Okay, so we're gonna roll us back. I know, how is he still alive? How long did he live? Anyway, man, the CP of this game really sucks sometimes. Prince Yuan returned in order to rebuild his homeland. When he saw the crisis the Tang Empire was facing, his hatred subsided. Thereafter, he composed a lot of moving music, which spread in the western regions, basically Central Asia. Al-Hindi's descendants became scholars in the Islamic region, famous for their theories of the law of cause and effect. Karma washed over Widad, who eventually passed away after spending 10 years with Septim. Well, that's a really short time, but I mean, remember life expectancy in the ancient world was very, very poor. So it's entirely possible for her to, when she encountered an illness, she was dead. Like, no matter how strong you are, illness is still a big problem. Anyway, we'll go to the next one. Duan Xiushi became renowned for his incorruptible integrity. He took over as the Jiedu Shi more than 10 years later, but was killed by one of the rebels while pacifying a rebellion. Wu Yuan actively promoted Shaolin Temple martial arts and assisted the imperial guards to pacify the rebellion, but the teachers of Dharma gradually died out after Hui Rong's death. After Wang Siyuan, Zhang Ke, you also saw the art of Wang Siyuan, like she looks really different. She's so rugged now. It was actually kind of neat to see her in that. Like, you think of her as like this noble lady, but she's kind of like already, like, at that point she was no longer, she's already discarded her any like sense of nobility to become the person she would become, a resistance army leader. After Wang Siyuan and Zhang Ke got married, they formed a resistance army to fight An Lushan's army. Well, at least that took care of Septim. Didn't have to worry about having to get married to her too. So in the end, the canon couple was widowed. But it was only for 10 years, which is really kind of, but you know, that's just the way of things. Septim returned. Oops. Sorry about that. My ring light fell. And I really need to find a better stand. I'm gonna start looking into that too. Alright, we're gonna keep reading. Septim returned to Europe and helped Charlemagne established a new dynasty using his newly acquired knowledge. However, due to the subsequent Dark Ages of Europe, this part of history became concealed. Interesting. That's an interesting take. Yeah, I don't know. I'll show you guys a little bit of what I was reading. That's so that we have it in the stream permanently. I noticed that you can't see it. Oh well. It's ghetto, but we gotta do it this way. It's interesting they say, I mean, I guess, I think a lot of people do say that, like, perhaps, like, that's a little bit, calling it the Dark Ages is not necessarily an accurate, like, it is true that life did suck for a while after the fall of the Roman Empire, and, like, a lot of knowledge was lost, but, I think people perhaps like say that it's not like all knowledge was gone. I mean, of course, a lot of it, studying Europe definitely like weakened in that time, but there were still things going on. Give me 1 sec. I'm gonna have to switch us back. Did it? No, it did not. Did it? Oh, okay. We were having a bit of a blurry cam issue, so sorry about that. Yeah, it's being silly. Okay, there you go. Sorry about that. Yeah, they're saying his knowledge didn't change history. And it is true that, by the way, yeah, you remember we were was serving Pepin the Short, and Charlemagne is Pepin the Short's son. Charlemagne was one of them for like the. He was one of the few that was able to create a sort of empire, the Carolingian Empire. But it did last only because it was split. Because of the rules of succession, it was split in 3. So the west side is kind of what became France, or because named after the Franks. And the eastern side, it becomes like what's going to be the Holy Roman Empire, and then Prussia, if I remember correctly, and then that becomes Germany. So very important empire in history. Yeah. Like, it did take, like, there was definitely things going on. It's definitely, perhaps, not calling it a dark age is maybe not as accurate as we used to think, but, you know, I guess it's, like we don't want to it undersells what's actually going on. But anyway, we're not here to talk about that. We have Nicole received a new name when she was born again in Europe. I noticed that they didn't say the name, but obviously, many years after Widad's death, Septim found Nicole, who had reincarnated and grown up, and the two spent the rest of these lives together. Yay! So these are still canon too. Yeah. So there you go. Like, that's wonderful. So I guess everyone won in the end, right? Ooh, hold on. All the couples, all the shippers, every shipper won, right? So there you go. I mean, you do have to wonder though. Technically, the age gap between Septim and Nicole would be very great by that point. But, you know what? There's unusual circumstances behind that, so I'm not gonna go harp on the fact that there would have been a giant age gap, considering that I'm sure the Nicole probably had memories of her own life in the past. So, I think it should be. I think we can overlook that it is not grooming or anything terrible like that. I mean, he met her again only after she had grown up, so who cares? So, you know what? I mean, even in the past, like, there were giant age gaps between, like, lovers or, like, couples before. Like, that's definitely a thing. Obviously, it was more preferable for the man to be older, so I guess it kind of worked out. Anyway, we'll continue. After spending a lifetime with Septim, the Xuan Yuan sword's whereabouts were lost. And then, remember, we're going to talk about the next that line with from Cornelius. He says, "It doesn't matter where or what scriptures or rules of benevolence are created. As long as people harbor evil thoughts, we can easily distort them." And then, like, we're going to go to show the next one, which is somebody hurry and let me out. I am the great Murden. Someone come and let me out. I know, how is he still alive? I have no clue. My guess is that probably was only, I don't think he would last very long, to be honest. That probably was, it's just probably like you want to hear him suffer some more. The devs really hated it, really wanted to kick him hard, and he's terrible too. Probably ate the bodies of the others. Yeah, he had to live for a while, but I don't think that would be enough to live past a few months. A couple of weeks, I guess. Maybe? Question mark? But then there's no water, so he'd be dead, so whatever. Anyway, and yeah, that is the... I couldn't really translate the credits. The game really has a CPM problem, which is basically it doesn't... Text is going way too fast. So, yeah. That is pretty much it. We did all the quests, so... I think we had a... I think we got through as much of the game as we could. So this is a good stopping point for the game. I guess we finished a bit early, so... I suppose now we can go straight into the review because we have time now. So, yeah, so here, yeah, we're gonna start the review now. I normally I do a review. So to explain, I normally do a review after every gameplay playthrough when the game is still fresh in my mind. So it's actually like the best time to do so, and I can give you the biggest assessment of, like, the most raw assessment of the game as possible. And so, like, I usually spend a little bit to talk about the game and what I thought of it. So for RPGs, yeah, now even though most of the side quests, you even did most of the side quests except for one because I messed up and therefore made you mess up too. It's okay. I mean, it's not a big deal. Like, I don't think, like, we don't have to do all the side quests. I never promised that will 100% the game anyway. At least we smacked the side bosses with some cheese, but you know. Anyway, we're gonna normally for RPGs, I usually do in these with the categories of story, gameplay, sound, and story, graphics, sound, and gameplay. There you go, in that order. And that's not order of importance. That's just a way to organize my thoughts better. And so yeah, let's just get into it. Now that we've experienced all of the story, I mean, I think this game's strength is both its story and part of it, some of the, like, I think that definitely is like the best part of the game, honestly. Like, I feel like we were pretty strong, like we are establishing a lot of like it is a little unusual for like Septim especially. It's quite funny that Septim starts off as like not believing in the existence. Trade the ones with the shop in China and the way to Loyan. Oh yeah. Oh okay. It was just about the equipment. Okay, that's not too bad then. So yeah, just to show you the other side, I will switch back to the other restream chat. I think it's this one. No. It's not let me. Did it not let me choose? No, it did not. Weird. Okay. It's okay. I'll lift the Twitch chat. I know it's a little complicated. A little disappointed with this game story. Yeah, I was gonna say like we for the story, I feel like it fired off very, very strong. Like we had like a lot of ties. It's actually quite interesting that, I mean, knowing what we know about Septim now, it's kind of funny that he believed that there was no god. I guess in this way it was kind of prophetic. Of course he doesn't want to believe in the god because like it was the god he was trying to rebel against in his past life. So I think that's actually kind of interesting foreshadowing about like why he's so reluctant to believe in God at all, which I think is kind of very, very interesting. There's a lot of interesting like I like the fact that there are definitely things where I was surprised, and like there was very interesting uses of time travel, which I find interesting. A fake time skip and a real time skip. I mean, what game can you say has a fake time skip and a real time and like 2 time skips? That's pretty crazy, and that's like unusual for like an RPG in general. I mean, like a Japanese one at least. Like Western, even for a Western one, like you don't have such great leaps in time. So I actually think that's actually really it was doing stuff that this game's from 1999, so it was made in the time like where that like not really a thing. So I actually really was kind of impressed that they managed to they did a fake out time skip and a real time skip too at the end. I'm like, as I was saying, like I definitely think like the China are kind of like there was we kind of sort of like stopped being proactive and kind of just waited for things to happen, which I think kind of weakened the story. And I guess the weird thing about like in the end it's kind of a chosen one kind of deal, right, where like we had literal plot armor. Basically the main character obtained was only able to overcome Satan because he was granted special powers, because they need special treatment, which I feel like definitely like I don't know, it kind of undermines like, I mean, look, Septim has gone through stuff. I mean, like, does he deserve like a break? Of course he does, but like maybe that wasn't like, that does feel like a little like, oh well, we can't have Satan win, so heaven's like, hey, we need you to do stuff, and then stuff like, you know, like it wasn't, unfortunately the conflict wasn't resolved with Septim's ingenuity anymore. Like before, like we had Septim be able to get through the story because of his own ingenuity and his cleverness, right? You can see that from the very beginning, like early on, and like how he handles situations and how it was pre-planned, and like like even like all the way to the fight of the Abbasid versus the Tang Abbasid battle. Like it is like you always see like him as this kind of planner, but then like it's sort of like stripped away from him later on. It's kind of unfortunate. Yeah, you just kind of sit around like the China. I feel like once they got China, like which is kind of funny because like, we were hyping up this whole thing, but once we got there, we're like, what do we do now? We don't really know. And it's like, oh, Satan's doing stuff. You know, you could have shown like wouldn't it have been better for the story for Septim's like, hey, let me look, I'm going to investigate into what Satan is doing here. And then like, no, we just kind of got like the plot line like, oh, look at the Black Altar Call. And then it's like, oh, the Black Altar Call is connected to Satan. What a coincidence. And then, you know, it's like, I mean, and like, kind of interesting. Huang Lei dies in the most unceremonious way possible. I guess that's kind of fitting for him, though. He would be killed just because of his eccentricity. His eccentricity was kind of used against him, so he died in the most unceremonious way, killed because he just couldn't pay attention to people. I guess in a way that's kind of like, you know what? I mean, that's always been him. So he died doing what he loved, right? But yeah, I feel like there was like a lot of it. I feel like it's just the latter half of the game is a little bit like it was weaker overall. Like it was still cool to have new cool people. Yes, this is Gravity dies. Exactly. He died doing what he loved. He was in the middle of scientific research. He was just like, I don't want to be bothered. And then she's like, okay, you're gonna die then. Dead. That's what you get. Well, that's what happens. Doesn't guard his. He's an eccentric man to the very end. So, but yeah, like a lot of like I really like there's a lot to like about the story. Like I really like the ties to history, and you kind of experience actual events in history, like from like a very like a very personal way. Like a lot of this personal. Obviously, do not take this as. No, I don't think the game would claim that it's a work of historic, like that it's anything but a work of historical fiction, because that's what it is. Like, of course, we know that like the depictions of people are not always historically accurate, but like I do appreciate that the game's like story also tries to show like there are both positive and negative examples of people in different religions. Like I do like, it's not like, oh, Christianity is bad and Islam is always good, or like it's more like, well, unfortunately, like in real life, unfortunately, there are just really terrible people of all religions. Like that's true. I mean, like they won't show even China, like not even Chinese people get off scot-free. This game is made by China. Even like, yes, it's made in Taiwan back then, but like even Chinese, like they don't like sugarcoat and they say that, oh, the things that happened were fine. They were not fine. Like terrible things happened in the Tang Dynasty. Like the corrupt officials of the corrupt bureaucrats that plague like the dynasties. I mean, honestly, that's like kind of like a given. Like it's kind of a universal thing, but like especially with the system of government back then, about how like corrupt officials were the cause of a lot of suffering. Yeah, it's really it's even damning when like Hui Yan was having to have Wang Siyue's father, the great philanthropist, answer for his crimes, and you realize that like he enabled this corrupt behavior from corrupt officials, and it's just like, oh, oof, oh, this is, oh, that's bad. So like I really think it's like at least like they try to show a view of human history like from different perspectives, and definitely like like it, I think like they kind of nailed at least the depictions of like back then, like how Islam was like generally. Yeah, like Islam was the one, like kind of they were still believed in human knowledge, whereas like the Catholic Church, or actually that didn't exist yet. Actually, it was called the I guess it is the Catholic Church in the sense we didn't have the Great Schism, so it was just one church for all of the Roman Empire, the Eastern Roman Empire, and there's no Western Roman Empire anymore. But for all the other people, yeah, the Pope was still the guy, still one to rule the church. Like both, like the church is like close-mindedness, I guess. Yes, and I'm saying this like I'm Protestant, but I know what actually happened. I can't, if we whitewash history, we're like, we can't lie. That's like, we shouldn't hide the truth. And like terrible things have been committed by Christians, like not just Protestants, Catholics, Orthodox. Like there's so many atrocities that you could spend a whole, like I recognize that too, and like we can't hide that. So because human history is full of both good and bad, and like they were showing that like there was persecution of people happening. Granted, it was kind of interesting where it was actually Satan was the one like instigating the whole thing, which I think it makes it just it's just really interesting too. Like I'm trying to think, I don't know if that level, but yeah, it was definitely like not like, hey, there was definitely not this tolerance. Like there was no tolerance for like non-Christians back then already. So it was like if you were not a Christian, you were probably like if you were in most other of the kingdoms, you were like, hey, you can't do that. Like, are you a pagan? You can't do that. You have to join the church. Like, you want to live here, you have to join the church or get out. Essentially. So like it's actually quite interesting where it was in the Middle East where Islamic places, they were more tolerant of Christians and Jews. I guess in a sense it's because Islam itself, before, people who are Islam believed they were we're the third, we recognize everything that happened for that in Christianity and Judaism because they are the ones before us. And so that's why it's actually quite fascinating that they recognize lots of things. Like we of the who have Abrahamic religions have a lot of commonalities. It's kind of interesting where Christianity is like, oh yeah, stuff that happened for Judaism is relevant to us too. And then Muslims are like, every stuff that happened for Jews and Christians are relevant for us too. It's actually really fascinating. It is just it's kind of sad that in spite of all these commonalities, there's just so much strife, and for various geopolitical and historic reasons. And it's kind of ironic and sad that you would think that these would be unifying factors, but they're not. Unfortunately, it's just not enough. It's human. It's the sad truth of human history. But anyway, I harp on this stuff all the time. I think I like that it encourages this kind of discussion. I've never played a game where we had multiple religions, actual real world religions in one, and that's actually kind of interesting. Where you have Muslims fighting Satan. I mean, what game can you say that happens? Or Buddhists fighting Satan? Dang. So I mean, this game is trying to do a lot. It's actually one of the most interesting games I've played on this stream, where I've gotten to talk a lot about topics I don't get to talk about as much. So I gotta give the credit to the story. The story definitely is very thought-provoking. It's kind of it kind of falls a little bit on its face near the end, and I do feel also what's unfortunate, I do feel characters like Nicole and Kama kind of get sidelined near the end too. So I feel like I was noticing their importance was starting to dwindle after the Middle East, and I was also I just this is unfortunate. The new characters getting introduced are getting more screen time than the ones we've been traveling with, and it's a little bit unfortunate too. So the game definitely has its own problems with trying to keep its characters relevant. where the party is no longer, other than Septim, the rest of the party is starting to become irrelevant. So I was also noticing that. So I mean, like, the story is just kind of like, there's some really cool things I really like about it. So I think overall I still really enjoyed it, but there are definitely things that like were maybe not as well done as well. And like, yeah, having essentially the conflict solved by a Deus Ex Machina is kind of like, eh. Yeah, they're like Pokemon who stay in the ball most of the time. Exactly, yeah, because of their nature of what they are. They're just like helpers, and they're Pokemon. Yeah, exactly. They start dropping in relevance as we went on. But yeah, I like, without like going, but like, yeah, like I would just say the story is like some really strong points. I really like the thought-provoking nature of it. There's a lot of heavy themes as well, which I really appreciate. But like from a development standpoint, like yeah, having the conflict gets solved by Deus Ex Machina near the end is kind of like, so Septim is special, yeah. Yay. I guess that's one way to solve it. It's a little disappointing. Plot armor saves the day when you think about it. So overall, like, I could see why that people still think that this is the best game in the series, even though I haven't played beyond this for this game, so I can't speak for that. Maybe I'll come back. Maybe we'll reconsider it when we get all the way to Xuan Yuan 7, but we're not there yet, so don't worry about it. But I mean, of the Xuan Yuan games we've played, the story is definitely the most. I actually enjoyed this one the most, only because like my own personal interest with like this era of human history. It's really cool, fun, but it's really fun to learn. But yeah, there's definitely a lot more to it. This is like the first one Xuan Yuan game I've seen where the plot is actually a very significant part of the game. Is it perfect? No. And there's definitely some parts about it, but we'll have to see if how the later games handle their story. But like, that's pretty cool. I enjoyed the story overall, in spite of like definitely some things that were like, you know. I guess we'll go with graphics for now. I mean, for the time, this is the end of. This is like, we're on the cusp of the 3D era, so. The only 3D you're going to see is on the FMVs. So I guess it's kind of rough. I mean, it shows its age for sure. It does look like a FMV from the 1990s, the late 1990s. But the sprite work is still top notch. I found that this version isn't that different from the original. Only the part about Huang Lei bombing the banner and going. Oh yeah, that's right. The one thing that's interesting is there's two. They changed it a little bit. And going to the bandit's hideout chain. The original Zhangke goes to the Luoyang temple, and that's how he meets Septim. Yeah, I guess they rearranged something. I'm not sure why. I guess to make Huang Lei a little less, like, I guess they're like, Mel, Huang Lei doesn't seem like the kind to just be that spiteful. Like, he's callous, yes, but he's not like actively trying to kill the the official. So I guess they're like, that doesn't make sense for his character. So maybe that's why they changed it. Oh well. I'm glad you found out what the differences were. I was actually that's actually something to note for anyone who's playing this game versus the original game. You will notice a few differences, as Illusion says. Yeah. So about graphics, as I was mentioning, it's definitely, the sprite work is very nice. Like, is it a little rough in places? I guess it is, but I don't think it's aged badly. That's one nice thing about 2D sprites. It's like, it still looks as good as it still looks pretty good for the time. Like, it's definitely showing its age, but like, I guess you can, even in this version of the game, which is definitely which is like the Steam version. Oh yeah, by the way, I think our EXP had no effect on anything, did it? No. See, we didn't gain anything out of it. Yeah, we gain nothing. There's no new game plus, so you don't get anything. But like, the sprite work is still very nice. Like, I definitely think, like, for the game definitely looks better than, it looks the best of the games we've played up to this point. It's definitely taking advantage of that extra resolution that when switching from DOS to Windows did. Because, like, think about how Xuan Yuan's, how the Dance of Maple looked, and compared to now to this one, and it's definitely a big jump. And yes, I know we're playing a port of the Steam version, so it's not exactly the original game. But if you play the original game, the sprites are pretty much on point. And so the game still looks very nice. The 2D graphics are very nostalgic, and like this is like in the time when their 3D was being pushed, it's still kind of nice to see these 2D games. Like this is a little bit after like Lunar, which is which we have played on this stream, was also a very sprite-based game. They haven't used 3D models yet, so we're not in that era. We're not. The next game is also still 2D, so don't worry. We're not gonna see awkward 3D for a while, for a little bit longer. Don't worry. We're gonna get disappointed soon enough. I'm so mean. I know that was a product of the time. So like I definitely think like the locales look nice. Can't really think of anything bad, I have to say. I feel like the areas look very appropriate for where they are, and it's really cool to see because we have so much variance or different settings. We got to see a lot of different sprite work, so they worked really hard to make this game look the way it does. And I think they've nailed it for the most part. Like I think we get a real sense of like, hey, these are different places. We are now in Central Asia. We are now in Europe, and that's like the locale and the story actually gave a vehicle for the game to look nice, to have all these really cool things. So good props to them. I really don't have anything bad to say. I can't think of anything that's really rough. Even like most of the time you can tell where you can walk in dungeons too, so I don't think I had this really big problem like I can't tell like where I'm moving, which could be a problem with like when you're doing an ornate like map. So like the sprite work is still really nice. Like I can't think of anything bad to say, honestly. So good job. For the sound, like I like some of the songs are pretty nice. I've definitely there's not really any like crazy like stand out tracks. I mean, the tracks are fine. I can't really remember them very well, but you know, like that's fine. Like it works for like the setting, and I can't really remember. Well, there's like maybe a couple of times where like, oh, the music's a little weird for the setting, but like for the most part, yeah, the music's just very like there. Yeah, it doesn't stand out to me at all. I know it doesn't for me either. Like it's kind of sad that in terms of theme, even in terms of battle themes, like I still think I remember Xuan Yuan 1 or Xuan Yuan 2's main battle theme the best, and I can't really remember much of the themes in this game very well compared to that. It's not a knock against it. It's not like the music is bad. It's just there. It serves the purpose of like being of where thing, and like of course sometimes there's a few places where it's a little weird. I'm like, huh, but like I mean, like for the most part it's fine. Like I can't really remember it, but at least it's there. I mean, like there's no voice acting, so can't really comment on the quality. There's no comment thing I have to say about the voice acting because there is none. And like the sound effects sound cool. For the most part, they're really neat. Like this version of the game has a little bit of a distortion issue, and I don't know why that is. I think it's like a little bit of a mixing problem. I don't know if that was because the original game had the same mixing problem. Do not, but like in this version of the game, sometimes some things crackle a little bit because they're not mixed correctly, so it's a little strange. But I think the sound effects are appropriate for the thing. So it's just there's nothing crazy exceptional I have to say about the game. Like this, like the music's totally fine, and the sound effects work for what we are doing. yeah, it's not particularly exceptional, but it's not like, bad either. So I don't really have much to say about it. I can't really say having not memorable music is a flaw, because at the very least at least the music is not taking me out of the experience, which is not what you want. So it's fine. Like, it's definitely not the most memorable soundtrack I've ever had, but I mean, like, it works for the game. So that also finally brings us to the gameplay portion of the review. What do I think about the gameplay? I mean, it's fine. Like, I do think that they give you lots of systems, but like ultimately in the end, like, it's pretty simple. You just kind of have to use your magic and you use your ultimate and you or use the attack. I mean, ultimately there's not, even during fights, it's not a lot of, for the most part, this game is kind of like, the game for the most of the game is quite easy if you keep leveling up. Later on it gets a little bit hairy, especially the end game dungeons. The monsters are just HP sponges and take forever, and so the battle system's not particularly interesting. They don't do anything crazy. Like, they're not gonna do anything crazy out of the box in this one. Like, this is pretty standard fare turn-based, so like there's no reflexes required. So I guess that's both good and bad depending on what your preference of game type is. And like, you explore dungeons. Like, the encounter rate's a little high, but it's just okay enough that it's not the worst thing in the world, I guess. How do I say this? Like, the dungeons are fine. There's a lot of useless chests, though. There's like some good items, but like there's a lot of like chests that are like, you go all the way there and they're really not important. And like, I very rarely use I think I leveled so much I didn't really use healing items until late, pretty much end game. So I think it's kind of funny. But yeah, strategies gets boiled down. You can't really. The problem is that inflicting status elements doesn't really make a whole lot of sense when you can kill most enemies in a couple of turns. And bosses are pretty much immune to status elements, so status elements are kind of worthless in this game. They're useful against you. And like, the one thing is like, I feel like the game is missing, like, there's no way to defend against status elements. You can defend against elements and all this kind of stuff, but of all things you would think you could defend against status elements, you can't. So it's really annoying that they kind of hamstring you. But I mean, that's only really applicable against like the secret bosses, because only the secret bosses actually use status elements effectively. So it's just kind of like so the gameplay doesn't actually stand out. The exploration of the dungeon is not particularly interesting, like not particularly like innovative. I mean, it's serviceable. Like, they're fine. It's all fine. I can't remember, like, no dungeon is really way too long that I can think of. Like, they're all like, yeah, some were a little longer than others and they take a little longer because of the encounter rate, but at least you can kind of run away, and eventually you have a reliable way to run away, so it's not as bad as it could be. So you can explore, like most dungeons, you can explore pretty quickly as well. I think the only one, yeah, and like they tried to make it interesting to go through. It's just that, like, it's not, like, there's a little bit of small puzzling, but not too much. And like let me think. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much the flow. And then you go into town, a lot of NPCs, you talk to them. The one annoying thing is like, this game really likes its math NPCs. I don't know why. They really like math problems. I don't get it. Why? I don't mind the math. I'm just like, why so much math? I feel like sometimes for the challenges, you just don't get enough out of them. You do the challenges and the items you get are just okay. Like, they're not crazy. Like, sometimes you'll get something good, but sometimes you just won't get. You're just like, it's okay. So, like, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like challenges aren't really worth it. But Yeah, it's a completely really bossy. You can't 100% the bestiary. Oh. Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can't 100%. Oh, that's right, because it doesn't save. You can't New Game Plus. So, yeah, that's actually kind of silly, too. That is. Yeah, there's just these silly things. Like, they. I mean, I don't. Does there be. I don't know if there's a bestiary in the original version. I mean, that's the problem with the port. Is like, they add a bunch of stuff, but, like, it's kind of like, whatever. Yeah. And I think the one thing I don't like about the game is also the text of the game is just way too fast. Like, no matter how good your Chinese is, like, I don't have a terrible reading speed, but I'm like, what in the world? I can't even read this fast. Like, unless you were a speed reader in Chinese, how in the world would you keep up? I mean, I don't know how it is in English version. It's probably the same problem too, honestly. So it's like let us read the text. Like, seriously. This game does not respect people who read slow. And it's like, let us have time to absorb the text. You have interesting things to say in the text. But why is it especially going too fast? This is probably many times I've noticed. Same before I did it ever since Sword and Fairy, all the way up to 6. Only in 7 did they finally fix this. That's ridiculous. Yeah, I know. I guess they're like, well, you could read fast. Deal with it. I was just like, why? Why do you do this? I mean, I feel like even in Sword and Fairy, they still respect you a bit more, though. Like, this is just ridiculous. I think it's a very bad problem for this particular game. Like, even when we have streamed, too, for people who are watching the stream for the first time, we have streamed the Sword and Fairy games all the way to the current one. And we're going to do the DLC next. I'll talk about it when we get to that point. Yeah, it's like, why even, like, why is it so hard? I know. Yeah, and by the way, I was just say, oh, let me say, I wonder how many games of Xuan Yuan do I have to wait until I can actually complete everything. I have no clue. I have no clue. And yeah, just to show you some of what we're talking about. Yeah, it's like, okay. I was like talking about the CPM. I was like, I don't like the Sword and Fairy games are pretty good about letting you. I can't think of. They don't have this problem, but like this game in particular has a really bad CPM problem. It's like, come on, really? Let us absorb the text you guys lovingly crafted. Like, I can tell they lovingly wrote the stuff for this game. Like, it was definitely a big, ambitious work in terms of writing. There's just so much text, and yet they can't even respect us enough to like let us read it at our pace. Like, that's just a cardinal sin. Like, that is the one thing I really hate about this game. Yeah, even the native can't read that fast. Exactly. I don't know what they were thinking. As I said, you would take a speed reader to read that fast. I don't know what they were thinking. It's just, I don't know if it was introduced. It might not. I feel like it would be in the original version. I don't know why the Steam version didn't correct this. Like, when they ported the game, they really should have had it stop. Like, I don't know what they were thinking. That's the one thing I don't like about this game. It's just the text speed. It's just bad. Like, it's almost, it's not game breaking, but it's bordering on, like, that would be enough to like make me like drop the game, like to like throw my hands up. But like it's fortunate that there's enough text that's intact that you can keep up with it. So yeah, like, I guess from a gameplay perspective, this game isn't particularly innovative. I mean, even the fusion system is kind of you don't really need it. Yeah, they give you a lot of systems, but you don't need it. Essentially, that's what happens. Even the fusion system, you don't really need. You can get through the game without fusing a single monster a single time. Like, you can do everything with just money. Like, if you're like, you buy enough stuff or you level enough, you don't even need them the fusion kettle stuff. So it becomes kind of like, you never use it. You don't need it. Unless you're like trying to beat the side boss, the special super bosses, like legitimately. But like, those are super bosses. They're hard and they're unfair, and they are probably too unfair, honestly. But they do technically give you the tools to smack them in the face if you are diligent enough. So yeah, so like I don't really have much else to say about the gameplay. It's like, yeah, there's some really big issues, and the silly thing is your max level is 16. That is also another thing. You have to be level 65. I know, what is this game? What is this game? I don't know if that's a bug in the Steam version or if that's an original version bug. That's just so silly. They shouldn't have the capital level is too low too. So you can get max level 60 and then you can't. Oh well. Yeah, there's just some weirdness going on. Weirdness. Bugginess. The game, like this version of the game, is also kind of sewn together, so it crashes every so often on the Switch version. I don't know if it is maybe on the Steam version. I've never played the Steam version, but this is the Switch version, so like it crashes, which is really bad. So oh my goodness, this version game has its own issues. It crashed whenever I load too much. That's so bad. The game really is sewn, it's like taped together essentially. So that is something to be aware of. The game does crash. The popular version, the Steam version, does crash. Original, I don't know. I haven't played original, but I'd love to show it. I don't know if I would play. Trying to get the right dolls was such a pain. Oh no. Also, scrolling down takes forever. Forever too. My goodness, there's just so many things that really should have been fixed in this version, but they did it, so it's just annoying the player. A lot of stuff to annoy the player. Scrolling takes forever to do. You have to scroll all the way to the last where your last save is, because the game keeps forgetting where you saved. So yeah, I'm now remembering all this annoying stuff. It's just all these small things that just makes the experience not as optimal as it should be. And you would think that this modern version would fix it, but they did not. So yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. No, I think we pretty much got through it. So basically, like, it's a fine experience, but there's just stuff that just nags on you to make it just that a little annoying. So anyway, I've said all that stuff, but would I recommend the game? I guess it really depends. For me, like for most people, if you're an RPG person, maybe a thumbs up red. I'm not sure I'm convinced that this is absolutely, and you have to fight the same boss 4 to 5 times. Sorry for all the ranting. Oh yeah. There's just so many weird. That is also a progression problem. Weird thing. The fighting the same boss 4 to 5 times was lame too. Cornelius. Come on, man. Come on. You're right. You're reminding me of all the silly silly things in the game. Thank you. It's okay. Don't worry for all the ranting. You had to go through the game too, so it's just they're all valid criticisms of the game, unfortunately. So I mean, like for me, like this is more of a thumbs up red for most people. And this Clockwork Beast. Oh yeah, that's right. That too. The mechanical beast. Yep. So yeah, for anyone, I think it's a thumbs up red for most. Like, I guess if you're an RPG enjoyer, like maybe it's a thumbs up red. I don't think it's an essential one to play. I mean, it's sad because like when my impression of the game at first was like, oh, the story is really good, so it might be worth that much. But like, I mean, there are definitely problems that I can't really overlook. So maybe I'm like you should give it a try for sure. It is definitely rough around the edges. So for most, like if you're like someone who has played RPGs before, like it's a thumbs up red for me, like I definitely still think it's worth playing, but I don't know if I'm like, man, you need to go buy this right now. you know, like I was a lot more like, I feel like having now played it, I'm like, maybe like there are definitely things. I was really excited to play it at first. I feel like the story at first like really draws you in. Like it's the earlier parts of the game are definitely stronger than the later parts. The game kind of falls a little apart later for the story wise. So it's a little unfortunate that's how. So I'm kind of back in the thumbs up rent, whereas like I'm not like, wow, you must absolutely play this. I mean, some people will say you do. Like, I guess if you are someone who has played Chinese RPGs, I feel like this is, for Xuan Yuan Sword, this is a good entry point, honestly. And there's a reason why this game is the only one of the few games of the Xuan Yuan Sword series in English. It's because this game is one of the ones that was like, it's considered one of the good entry points for the series. And honestly, I have to agree. I think this is a good entry point where like you're past all the dated stuff from previous entries. You have actually a story to follow. And like, is it perfect? No. Like, but I definitely think if you're interested in Chinese RPGs, this is kind of essential. Like, this probably is, but it's still a thumbs up red in spite of that. You should just give it a try and see if you like it. If you love history, you'll probably like this a lot more. You'll get a lot more mileage out of it. If you like, especially if you like this era of human history. But like, otherwise, like if you're a RPG, like a RPG enjoyer, like it's fine. And if you've never played RPGs before, I really don't recommend starting with this first. I would say don't stay away for now. Like wait till you're a bit more experienced in RPG systems and can come back. Yeah, because this is not a good way to learn. Like you'll feel the weaknesses of the genre here. So yeah, otherwise I recommend it generally, but like it's more like not a strong recommendation. I would definitely recommend it over its predecessors for sure. As much as I had fun with those, the previous games, they are definitely not, I don't think they're as good as this game, to be frank. I mean, like I still think this is the best one I've played in spite of its problems. So yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy this playthrough. I had a lot of fun talking about stuff. Like, so, like, I may be negative on some parts of the game, but I definitely think my experience as a whole was still very, very positive. There's still a lot to like about the game, and you'll definitely remember the characters for sure. They are definitely, it's definitely the experience worth going after if you can stomach some of the things that are not so great about the game. Alright, so that's the end of the review. I took a while, I know, I had a lot to say. This game gives you a lot to talk about too. So, well, I guess for the next game we're going to be returning to the other sword game, which is Sword and Fairy 7. Like, you may be wondering, wait, did you already play that game? Well, we did, but we hadn't, after we had ended our playthrough quite some time ago, the DLC was released, and so we will be playing the DLC. That's the next thing we're going to be playing. It's a short DLC that we'll be playing very briefly to give us a little bit of a little break from this long RPG, and that means so that we will be starting that tomorrow. So I hope you're excited. And like, it'll be nice to return to the world of Sword and Fairy again. You'll get to see it's quite different. We'll be jumping forward in time, so the look of the game will definitely be much more modern looking. Wonder how the translation is going to be. Yeah, that is one thing. Oh yeah, I didn't forget to mention. Oh, for Xuan Yuan Sword 3, if you do want to play this game, at least you can play it in English. So I played it in Chinese. I did not play in Japanese. You could play it in Japanese if you wanted to, but I would not recommend it unless you are a Japanese native speaker. But what are you doing here if you're a Japanese native speaker? You don't understand what the heck I'm talking about very easily. I would say play this game. If you can play it in Chinese, play it in Chinese, of course, original work. But I think now that I've experienced the game, heard some stuff. I think the English translation is probably sufficient for. It was sufficient for, like, it was another chatter, Romeolo. He played it entirely in English, so it is absolutely fine to play it in English. Even if it's not the most flowery translation possible, it's still, like, a pretty good enough translation to get you through the game. And you can play it on many different platforms, including the Nintendo eShop, the PSN, and can you play on Xbox Live Arcade? Actually, I'm not sure about Xbox. I know it's on PlayStation, Switch, and Steam. I do not know if it's on Xbox. So you have many ways to play on the modern platforms. I would definitely recommend going for those, so you don't have to dig up and find like the CD, like the CD cracks to play this game. Oh my goodness! Look, CD cracks. What year is this? But yeah, if you want to, if you don't want to play the original version, this is a great time to pick up the game. So yeah, sorry, I forgot to mention that. Okay, that's the end of Xuan Yuan 3 stuff. Now we're back. So yes, our next game is going to be Xuan Yuan Sword and Fairy 7 DLC. So that's going to be a little bit of a short break. And that also means that I get to talk about the game after Sword and Fairy 7 DLC. So I have decided that it is time to return to the world of Xenosaga. We're going to do Xenosaga Episode 2 after Sword and Fairy 7. Sword and Fairy 7's DLC will give us a nice little break, and then we're going to go for another big game right after. Oh yeah, and it is going to be very interesting. And maybe that's in both good ways and bad, given its reputation. But I have to play it for the sake of completion. I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna try to get through it. So I hope you guys are excited, and I am very thankful for you, everyone who stayed to the end of this playthrough. And hopefully we'll play more Xuan Yuan Sword in the future. I will definitely let you know when we start on. Our next one is 3.5, so we have quite a bit of the series left to go. So we are still going, anyway, so I was going to say more, but like, no, I'm going to stick to talking about Xuan Yuan Sword here. Anyway, thank you all for watching to the very end. I suppose that's it for now. So, as always, if you did enjoy this stream, we have a Discord where you can discuss this game and other games' interests. You can watch archives of previous streams on that YouTube channel, or follow us and you can follow us. That is still being uploaded. Like, I will show more. A lot of it's just privated right now, so it's gonna take a while. Otherwise, you can follow us on Facebook or X or Blue Sky down below. And yeah, we'll see you for the first stream of Sword and Fairy 7 DLC tomorrow. I know normally it would have been on Wednesday, Mondays and Wednesdays normally, so hey, we weren't able to stream on Monday because of something that came up. So sorry for everyone who was hoping for the finale then, but we had to push it to today. But yeah, I hope you guys, thank you everyone for watching. So I guess as always, 晚安, which means good night, and 下次再见, which means see you next time, and 谢谢收看, which means thank you for watching. 求神祝福们, may God bless you. 愿你的一天有福, may your day be full of blessing. Hope you guys had a good one, and thank you all for witnessing this interesting game to the very end. Alright guys.